Alright, the system shut down. So I took too long, I guess. Hit the button or whatever. But I dropped the key, so let me go ahead and start the car up. This is part 2 of it. When I start the car up, what that does is it allows the system to charge up. Turn off the vent thingy here. But so when I start the car up, the car's alternator, which is this device right here, makes electricity, and it sends it to the vehicle battery to run the vehicle system. And it charges up this battery, but it also sends power through this red line, which goes to that black, the red line I've installed there with the fuse, to the black line, which runs up underneath. It comes up underneath here and out through, and I have it hooked up. I have it hooked up to this switch right here. It's just a regular house outlet switch. So I have it hooked up to here, and then when the switch is turned on, I also have I have the other side of the switch connected to the back of the red on the inverter. Then from the inverter, I have a line from the red to the red the red terminal, the positive terminal that's underneath the floor over there. And then I have a black, negative that goes from that battery. To the inverter negative, and then I also have a cable from the negative on the battery that that goes to a bolt that's metal bolt that's connected to the car metal frame, and that allows the system to be complete. So by starting the car up, the battery's charging right now, but the system's not hooked up right now. So let me show you how it works. If I turn on the inverter right now, because this switch is off, the two batteries aren't connected. What we see is 12.6 volts. That 12.6, I don't know if you can read it here. Yeah, not going to be visible on the screen, but 12.6 volts is not fully charged. 12.8 is charged. So this battery's kind of old and doesn't hold a complete charge, but it's good enough. And, it's a battery I already own, so I'll keep using it. But it says 12.6. That's because it's just reading off the battery that is underneath the in that floor storage, because I haven't connected the two batteries. Now when I switch this switch on, what I've done is connected the two. Let me try to get this where it can see it. There, now you can read it. See how it says 13.1, 13.2? That's because the system is charging up. Let's try to get it to show. Okay. So right now, I'm going to flip it off, and you'll see the thing goes back down. It's down to 12.9 because, it charged up already that fast. Once 12.9, 12.8, it'll drop down. But that's what the battery that's under the floor has right now. But when I flip this switch right here, which I'm going to flip here in a minute, I flip it, and then you can see the thing starts to charge up. Now it says 13.2. It'll go up to like 13.3, and then it'll go up to like 13.7, 13.8. Because that's what the voltage is being produced by the alternator, and it's sending that here to charge up both batteries. So it's charging up the car's internal engine battery, then it's charging up my house battery. So as long as I have it connected like that, the two batteries are charging. The inverter doesn't need to be on. It only needs to be on when we want 120 volts, which right now we don't have 120 volts. You can see the multi-plug outlet here is off. But what I'm going to do is the inverter's on right now, so it's producing 120 volts, but it's plugged in right here, but this unit's turned off. So let me turn that on. You can see the rice cooker is off right now, but when I turn that on, that light comes on. So now we got 120 volts, and this white cable here goes to the rice cooker, which has 120 volts. So the system is on right now. The rice cooker you can't shut off. It either goes in warm mode or hot cook mode. That's cook mode, but that's warm mode, which uses about 80 watts. And when we go to cook mode, it uses like 320. Let me show you what it looks like when we do that on here. In warm mode, you can see the battery says 13.2, so it's still charging. But if I turn it up high, that's the rice cooker being on. You can see the voltage drops quite a bit. That's because we're pulling power from the battery and the inverter to heat up the rice right now, and it's on cook mode, which I don't need it on because it's already cooked. I don't even need it on because the rice, you know, I'll heat it up when I get ready to eat it, but now I'll just shut it off. But you can see the system right here is charging the batteries right now and not really draining because even though the inverter uses some power, it's not really powering anything right now. Also hooked up to the inverter, I have hooked up a multi-plug 12-volt cigarette outlet with USB charging. The red from this device goes to the red on the inverter, and the black from here goes to the black on the inverter. And that allows this thing right here with 3 plugs to power like 3 12-volt, you know, cigarette lighter devices. And those devices right now are my fans. I have 2 fans hooked up, one here in the front and one in the back there that you can't see too well. It's right at the end of the cabinet right there that blows right in your face. I have a 3rd slot that's open that I'm not using right now, but I'll be hooking up a 3rd battery. Even though, I mean, a 3rd fan. You don't really need 3 fans, but having a 3rd one is useful in case one of the fans fail, or 2 fans fail. Living in Florida, if you're living in a van, it can get really hot. So having the fans allows the airflow so that you're not roasting in your vehicle and getting heat stroke. And what I do is I keep the, you can't see it here, but behind the curtain there is a window that can be opened up through the front here. This is a back vent window, so I can actually hit that one and it'll open up the rear window, which I'll show you here. So it opens up like this, so I continually have air flowing through. And I typically leave that open to allow airflow through the vehicle to keep the car from getting too much moisture and getting wet in there. So I leave it all open pretty much almost all the time when I'm living in it. You know, shut it down sometimes when I'm not in it, but when I am in it, it's opened. And that's why you saw the mosquito netting in the other video. I was getting ready to, I got to try to put mosquito netting to block this opening so that bugs don't get in and mosquitoes don't get in, especially in Florida. Right now, because the weather's kind of cool, I haven't really seen mosquitoes outside. So probably don't need it right now for this trip, but eventually for the summer and other times when you're traveling in Florida, you want the mosquito netting. Or if you go into the wilderness like the Everglades, or you know, like back to the compound or something, you're going to need mosquito netting or you're going to be eaten alive. And that pretty much sums up how the system works for cooking. And typically I can cook while I'm driving, but what I do is I usually, to load up the food and prepare it, all that before cooking, I usually am stopped somewhere at like a park or a gas station, and I set it all up. Then I hook up the system and turn it on, then I drive to my destination while it's cooking. If it finishes cooking while I'm driving and I need to, you know, not have food burn, I just turn off the inverter and then the rice cooker shuts off so the food won't burn, you know. And basically I just make sure that the batteries are always fairly high. Like what happens is, like when I sleep all night and I run the fans, obviously the house battery, this battery right here, which by the way, when I do that at night, I shut this off. I disconnect the 2 batteries. That way when I run the fan, you know, which gets the power through this thing right here, it's only hooked up to the house battery back there under the floor. We don't want to drain the driving battery because then your car might not start in the morning. So it only drains from the what I call the house battery, which is the battery the second battery that I put under the floor, and that'll drain overnight, so it'll be low. So in the morning, I don't want to start off cooking right away. I want to drive a little bit and have the switch turned on to connect that battery back there to the one up at the front, you know, under the hood. And when that's charged up quite a bit, then I will go ahead and flip on the inverter and do the cooking. Because if I try to do it while the battery here is too weak, it'll pull all the energy from the front, which it might overpull, and then, you know, you could end up killing your batteries, making it so that they don't want to charge anymore. So make sure that your house battery is fully charged, you know, or charged pretty high up before you start trying to use the system to cook. And then as you're driving, make sure that you have it, you know, you can turn this off, it doesn't matter. But as long as it's connected right now, like it's on the on position right now, it'll charge that second battery, the house battery, while I drive. so I don't need like solar panels or anything to charge the system. Matter of fact, it charges fairly fast, so I can drive around a bit and let it charge. But you know, if I feel like it's fully charged, I will flip that off to turn off the connection. But I typically will turn it on before I park at night to make sure the battery's fully charged, because I want to be using the fan at night. And I hope that explains the system. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I'll try to do it, you know, explain it in a little bit more detail and answer your question. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you found it useful. If you're trying to set up a cooking system, this is a really simple system. All you need is some wires. The wire I recommend is 10 AWG. It's called 10 gauge wiring. It'll hold enough power to run, you know, to hook up the inverter to cook stuff at 120 volts. So 10 AWG. The way they number the wiring is like the smaller the number, the fatter the wiring. So 10 AWG will work, 8 AWG, you know, will work. I use 10 just because it's readily available from like Home Depot, the wiring section, and it's not too expensive and it's manageable. So I run that line as the main line that connects the two battery systems. And I haven't really had any issues with it, you know, melting or anything like that, so it's been good. And the fuse there hasn't really ever gone off with 2535, so I don't even know if the fuse is necessary for under the hood, you know. But I put it in there just in case to play it safe. Until next time, everyone, I hope you guys got some useful information from this video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.